All right, I'm Colin.
And I'm Dylan, and this is the Dylan and Colin Show.
Welcome back, everybody.
We're back. We just started posting on our own channel now, so if you want to see us on here, we'll have the full uncut videos, and then we should have some shorts and other posts coming up on Utah News Report. Go check them out for sure, too. They're fantastic.
Amazing. We actually run it, so that's pretty cool. So, yeah, go check us out on Instagram. Utah News Report. It's important you do the report.
Right.
Well, let's see.
So, a little while back, this is a video we've been meaning to do for a while, so we're a little late on this one. But a little while back, we had the 2026 legislative session.
We got to actually go to the Capitol on the closing night, and we met a bunch of people.
All right.
So, basically, legislative session.
We have a whole bunch of stuff here. Let's first, I forgot to do this, but I want to look up how many bills were passed in 2026 Utah legislative session. Because it's a ton.
541 bills.
541.
Wow.
And I think,
Total introduced as 1,000. It was
1,015. I think that's a record.
It's a record of passed and introduced, I believe.
Yeah. So
Tons.
crazy. Tons. Now, let's go. So, Governor Cox said this was one of his favorite sessions we've ever had.
Whoa.
So that that's a bad sign already. Several important initiatives that were important to his administration. His administration were passed. Education. We'll get into education we're gonna have 3 videos on this. So this video, if you read the title, we're focusing on, immigration, justice system, all that stuff, voting. And then
we have 2 episodes. Two episodes
coming after this.
So please watch them, because those ones get into different things. So
yeah. Homelessness initiative. He has all this stuff he's working on. Whatever. Governor Cox. Let's just listen to
the rhetoric.
We're grateful for the media. You play a critical role in our republic, and we're lucky to have you. I would just encourage people who got really, really angry when they read an article or saw a news clip about a bill that they hated so much, and they couldn't believe that terrible legislature was going to pass that bill. And then that bill didn't pass, and they didn't, and people don't know it because they never read the follow-up article about that terrible bill that never passed. So I would encourage you to go back and look at all your reporting, and then make sure you do the follow-up about the bills that didn't pass, so people know that they shouldn't be as angry as they might be right now. Thank you so much, everybody.
So there you go.
Well,
Governor Cox doing his typical thing.
We'll spare him his
telling people not to get mad. Telling people
don't get too angry at
don't get too angry. Yeah, pretty typical stuff. Nothing really to unpack there, but
nothing cool.
One thing we found in our research is the ACLU here. They have their legislative report on what they think about Utah's legislative session, and unfortunately, they seem to be a big fan of a lot of the bills that were being. Either they're a big fan of the results, at least, whether it was passing or not passing a certain bill.
And what is the acronym again?
American Civil Liberties Union.
Ooh,
Yeah,
they're a UU too.
but let's read this introduction, and that should give a
pretty good
overview
deciphering
of what their goals here are. So, protecting your rights means protecting everyone's. When elected officials threaten one group's rights, everyone's freedom is at risk, including those you care about. When we, the people, participate in our democracy, we're doing what's right. Because we fought to win to the end, we defeated many harmful bills that targeted our rights, freedoms, and constitutional protections. Each message, call, and testimony builds power, turning into the many victories we had this session.
This is the most low IQ thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's...
So you shouldn't...
Obviously, not... I don't know.
So you shouldn't... So basically, let's just start off. The very first sentence, like 2 sentences, basically just says that you shouldn't fight for yourself and what you need. You should fight for everybody else, and everybody else becomes before you. And that is like,
I mean, here's the thing: is
Huh?
obviously it's like the typical left-wing language that kind of they make it sound. I mean, like, you know, because there's nothing awful in here. You read that and you're like, it's hard to argue with, and that's kind of the point. I don't know if anyone knows. I'm pretty sure this is in the book Rules for Radicals, which was very influential back, I think, in the 60s. I don't know. It might have been written in the 50s. I'm not sure. But around then, and this dude, he gives all of his advice for, like, how to sort of just, like, manipulate people, how to push radical ideas. And one of the pieces of advice that I'm pretty sure is in there is that you need to use, like, just the most positive sounding names you possibly can, and you need to sugarcoat everything. You need to wear this mask of, like, social justice and positivity, right? That's why you look at BLM. You go, oh, I don't know if I like BLM. And you go, oh, so you don't think Black Lives Matter? People go, hey, do you agree with Antifa? And you go, no, I don't agree with Antifa. And say, oh, so you're against the anti-fascists? And that's what they do, is they give stuff these positive names like that. These names that you can't really argue with. And then they go and they pretty much were just like these crazy Marxists and stuff.
this is this is literally like the teen girl drama manipulation, where they literally say something good, like a good name or a good something, and they overgeneralize it.
Yeah.
And then what they actually fight for is very specific, but the names and the groups, they're all overgeneralized. So they say Black Lives Matter, it's for black rights. What black rights? Which ones are you fighting for? Yeah. They have no idea. They just say, we want an end to racism. How? What racism? Where?
Yeah.
And
then they can apply that word racism to anything they want.
Police?
They could say, yeah, police, that's racist.
Stores?
Not giving black people free money, that's racist.
$999 of stuff that can't be stolen, that's
Absolutely.
racist.
And let's also say, if you watched our other video with the National Governors Association, that's not also just a Democrat thing, and that is definitely something Governor Cox does. He does that all the time. He just uses this, like, happy language. I don't even know, happy, shallow language that nothing. He avoids using anything that can get him in trouble. It's all rhetoric. It's all, like, happy, positive rhetoric. And rarely do these people get to the meat of, like, what are we actually trying to do here?
And that 1 to 2 lines are just shallow as it gets. Just low IQ shallow, that it's just at this point, whatever sounds good.
Yeah.
And that is what they're saying is, we have to fight for the little guy. What little guy?
Yeah.
Who's the little guy? The illegal immigrants who are like taking all the stuff, right?
As it turns out, that is exactly what they're talking about, is the illegal immigrants. Let's go down here. So the ACLU says, hey, they have all these bills, and they say, here are where we had victories, here's where we had failures. And as you see, they have everything over here: immigrants' rights, democracy and voting, LGBTQ. Oh, wait.
All good.
Sorry, guys.
I
forgot.
You're not seeing
camera.
There we go.
Now you see it. Immigrant rights, voting rights, LGBTQ rights, all this stuff, right? And pretty much they go through all the bills that have to do with each of these different categories, and they say, did we win or did we lose? And, like, I don't want to be too general, but if the ACLU wins, we probably lose. We probably are. There is different sides of the situation here.
We may have a 20% win, right? 20% of the bill we like, but the rest 80 we absolutely despise, and it's terrible, and they like that 80%, and so we lose.
Yes.
Right? So down at the bottom, as you see, it says status, victory, or failure.
Yeah, right down here. Yeah. It says victory, did not pass. So, HB 88, ACLU, or we could just say, like, liberal Utah establishment, they won because this failed, right?
Mm-hmm.
SB 136, they actually failed this one because they supported it, it did not pass. Whereas they look at 287, they opposed it, it didn't pass. 294, they opposed it, it didn't pass. 571, they opposed it. It didn't pass. So 4 out of the 5 that they disliked did not pass. Isn't that kind of weird that the ACLU liberal institution is having all these wins in the most conservative state in the country's legislature?
Yeah, that's a little weird. And don't you think if you're at home, right, and you're like, yeah, I don't think we should have mass illegal immigration and be overrun with an illegal population.
Yeah.
You just lost. What, 7? Was it 7?
4 out of the 5 bills.
4 out of the 5 bills.
Yeah.
You lost that much. And so and most of those were like, yeah, no, if you're illegal, you don't get to drive. No, yeah, if you're illegal, you don't get to have these privileges that you would if you came here legally, or if you applied for legal status. And most people, that's not radical. That's not crazy.
And that is very much the norm in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
And yet the ACLU is getting exactly what they want. The liberal establishment in Utah is getting exactly what they want. Why is that? We have a red supermajority. Why are we giving these left-wing institutions what they want?
A lot of people think in their minds and say that Utah doesn't have a big illegal population. That's Texas and California. We don't have that much. You're wrong. We actually do.
Total nonsense. Absolutely.
Because a lot of people come up from Texas, Arizona, and California where they know it's a little trickier, and they go to places like Utah, Colorado, all those states because they don't have a border, and so they don't have to protect it as much. Right?
We have, first of all, Utah is a sanctuary state, which is bizarre. Why? I don't know why that is, but I don't know. We'll talk about that in another episode. So yeah, we have plenty of illegal immigrants. I see estimates at about 500,000. Let's put this in perspective. How many people live in Davis County? How many people live in Davis County,
Utah? 386,000.
So we have 500, at some estimates at least, we have 500,000 illegal immigrants. So you look at Utah County,
790,000.
Those are 2 of our 3 biggest counties. Just think about that. 790,000 here, 385,000 there, and there's 500,000 illegal immigrants. That's kind of crazy.
That is more than Davis County.
More than Davis
the population.
County. 2/3 of the population of Utah County. I switch the thing.
I know it's fine. I realized. So that is something that's kind of crazy.
That's crazy. How many illegal immigrants came in during the Biden administration?
During their 4 years, it was about 10 million illegal immigrants.
10 million.
So that means like 500,000 just came to Utah out of the 50 states. That is crazy.
And that is 2.5 times our population. So look, they're not all coming here, but why are we leaving ourselves open like that?
So it is important if we do have a immigration law in Utah that says, no, we don't want them here.
We do not want to pay for all their stuff. We don't want to give them welfare. I don't know why we're giving just about anyone welfare, besides maybe really old people. But we definitely don't want to be giving illegal immigrants welfare. We don't want to be incentivizing them to come here.
That is true.
Do illegal immigrants pay taxes?
No, they don't.
I don't think so.
But they do get benefits.
But, isn't this bizarre? Just to reiterate, imagine if we look at, okay, what's happening in politics in Utah, and then AOC comes to Utah or something, and she's like, whoa, I love what you guys are doing here. This is great. Why is the ACLU we're getting all these things right. We get exactly what we want for 4 out of 5 of these legislations. Why is that? Why are they not furious at us? They should be furious at us. The liberal institution should be furious at the supermajority Republican House and Senate. So what's going on? What's going on here?
And if you're a conservative and you're like, well, it's okay, it's okay, it's good, it's whatever. No, it's not, because guess what? The people who oppose you and you oppose are saying that you're doing a fantastic job. We like what you're doing here. That should be terrible. Everybody should draw the line, say no to that.
Yeah.
Right? That's minimum. That's the minimum.
That's the minimum. Now, anyways, let's go forward here. So we're going to come back to some of this immigration stuff. Firstly, we want to talk about this one right here. Capital felony evasion amendment. So pretty much this is changing a lot with how we do death sentences, and based off what I'm seeing here, it's making it a lot easier for us to use the death penalty. According to the ACLU, this bill prioritizes speed above due process, accuracy, and a fair criminal legal system.
So
this one is, if you are a supporter of the death penalty, and obviously we all have a line of like, like I don't want to just be killing people at random, but as I would be willing to bet a lot of people here in Utah are supporters of the death penalty.
So that
this was actually a success for us.
Yes,
because we did get this passed.
Basically, what it says is, just like really quickly clarify, it just says if you're gonna go around murdering people all the time, you're gonna get like harsher punishments, right? And one of those is eventually the death penalty, right?
Let's look this up. How many people were murdered in Utah in 2025? How many people? 93 people. How many people were given the death sentence in Utah? Zero.
And so it's just making it so that if you decide to go commit terrible crimes to other people, like horrendous, you gotta worry about you getting killed than just you killing them, right?
Right. So, and looking at this, if we have 0 cases of us using the death penalty, then if anything, this bill is saying, hey, maybe we should start using that, if anything.
Like minimum. Maybe we should at least like look into it, then just totally throw it out on some of these big cases.
So that was actually a good one.
W for us.
W for us. This one was also good because Nate Blount, if anyone knows who that is, just go to his his Twitter.
Nate Blount, if you're listening, big thumbs down.
Big thumbs down. She proposed Senate Bill 136, and it attempted to ban ICE officers. It attempted to ban federal law enforcement and ICE officers from coming into the state. Oh, no, from wearing masks. Wearing masks while they perform duty.
So at this point, we should all know that wearing masks for ICE officers is actually a pretty good thing, because I don't know about you, but when you're like doing your job, I don't think what you need to be, you don't want to be worrying about, is my house going to get raided today? Am my family going to get killed tonight? You should be like the safety of, I can do my job, which I'm told to do, and not fear for my life and my family's life.
What happened? You remember the church with Don Lemon and stuff? Where was that again?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what exactly it was, but the stuff they were doing is insane. They walk into this dude's church because he's an ICE agent. They walk into this dude's church, and like some of the reports were absolutely nuts. Like there was protesters standing between parents and their kids and telling their kids that they're Nazis and stuff. And like the stuff that was going on with that was absolutely nuts. There's a good reason why these people want to be able to like
wear a
mask and like not advertise who they are.
Right? Like that's a pretty basic level.
I mean, so what? Nate Blount wants like these agents to like, I don't know, be exposing their identities.
So,
or like what's the deal with that?
It doesn't make any sense.
That's insane. And that one did not get passed. Good. So that was another good one, but like that was also an insane one. So like bare minimum that doesn't get passed. If that got passed in Utah, that'd be absolutely nuts. That would be across a whole nother line. I think now we're getting into the stuff with immigrants and driving. So, we got this right here. There's an estimate of 500,000 non-citizens in Utah right now. There, in a 9-month period, Layton recorded 262 car crashes by illegal drivers. You can look at all these statistics here. You guys can fact.
St. George is a 91. First thing, Layton isn't like the crazy biggest city ever. or like even the crazy most populated city in Utah. It's a bigger city, but it's not crazy, right? There's no skyscrapers that I know of. And the fact that they have crazy amounts of illegal car crashes is crazy. How come they're even here?
Yeah.
That's the big question.
So, yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff like that. And there's also statistics showing that like our car crashes have gone down over time, so that's good. But the number of car crashes that have been committed by illegal immigrants has gone up.
So this is important that we address this issue, right? So we proposed, well, not we, but Trevor Lee, which
Trevor
we
Lee,
like, he proposed House Bill 136 to combat this. Basically,
This one is 287.
oh, this is 286. Well, we should
I believe.
go. That one is 136.
Let's
so
go 136.
Let me tell you about this. Basically,
This one also Trevor Lee. I think it is, but
okay, ready? This is a statement by the Utah House Democrats. We are deeply concerned about the HB 136 and the environment of fear that it creates for all Utah drivers. Law enforcement cannot know whether a driver is unlicensed before initiating a traffic stop, raising serious concerns about the potential for racial profiling.
so it's a big threat for all Utah drivers? Probably not.
You know what?
Let's go back. Wait, what exactly is 136 doing?
So basically, I'm just gonna paraphrase this a little bit. Basically, what it does is it basically just says that if you're gonna drive illegally without a permit, or if you are illegal and you are driving, you're gonna have a lot more severe consequences starting now, because we have to deal with this car crash issue. We don't want people to just get killed in the streets, so we are gonna start addressing it. So basically,
Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, and that increases the consequences, right, for people who are driving without a driver's license. It allows, police to take different steps if someone is driving without a driver's license. So the reason the Democrats here are concerned is they are concerned about racial profiling, and they are concerned because, guess what? It's more likely that an illegal immigrant is going to be driving without a license, and it is more likely that an illegal immigrant is going to be Mexican. Right, so the Democrats are worried that the police are just gonna start pulling over random Mexican people, saying, "Hey, do you have a driver's license?" So
let's look at this realistically. Racial profiling is not a good thing, right? But which is better, you in a car crash getting killed, or somebody gets pulled over because they think that they are legal and find out they're not? Right?
Yeah.
It is. We shouldn't do that, right? I'm not saying that we should, but it's far more severe to be like, yeah, no pulling over illegal immigrants.
This bill is in response to the issue caused by illegal immigrants. This is, like, obviously this could also be useful if we're talking about, like, teenagers driving without a license, but the reason they made this is because they're worried about illegal immigrants, right? And that's not a bad thing, that's reasonable. Of course they should. I mean, clearly, based off the statistics, they should be worried about illegal immigrants.
And so, who are the majority of the illegal immigrants? They are just naturally
Danish people.
No, they're not. They're
Japanese people.
They're gonna be Mexican or Peruvian or all that sorts of stuff. So, it's a natural thing, right? It's not like we control that. So of course there's gonna be more like racial profiling towards people who they think are illegal because, states they show.
And what are they talking about? Like, oh no, a cop might pull over someone who's Mexican and say, hey, do you have a driver's license? And then they'll go, actually, I do. And then
that's terrible. That's
terrible. You might get pulled over a little more, and that's unfortunate for those who do have those things. But it's more unfortunate if we let people get hit and killed by illegal immigrants.
It's better to have one person wrongly pulled over than 5 people then in a car crash.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's more wrong to pull over 5 people wrongly than to let one person die in a car crash.
Or even get injured in a car crash, too.
Like,
right?
Getting killed or injured in a car crash is a lot more serious than getting pulled over
for 5
and
minutes.
saying, oh, no, I do have a driver's license.
And they're like, oh, okay. That's okay, know? And, okay, so, and then there's this other bill.
Other bill over here. This one's the Trevor Lee one. This is, I got that. Let's see. What one is it again? This is Bill
I think it says the top.
287.
There we go.
So this is kind of crazy. I want you guys to listen to this real quick. There's these laws that some states have that allow undocumented immigrants. Oh, wait. Let's go back. Sorry. We forgot to say this. HB 136 was did not get voted in. Right? Let me check. We have it all written down here.
So
HB 136. Oh no, that one did pass. Sorry, so that was a good one. This other one did not pass though. So 136 passed. This one here though, 287. This was in response to our current system for driver's licenses. So Utah is one of the 19 states that has laws that allow undocumented immigrants to get a driver's license. So in Utah, you can get, as an undocumented immigrant, you can get a driver's license. The only other states that do this are states like New York, California, the typical ones that you'd expect. Colorado,
Massachusetts,
Delaware,
New Jersey.
all these liberal states are. So isn't that bizarre that it's all these liberal states and Utah for some weird reason let you get a driver's license as an undocumented immigrant?
That and that is dangerous because now we're getting hit in car crashes, right? It's very simple. So we have to address this issue, and those what those two bills were trying to do.
Yeah, Trevor Lee proposes this bill, says, hey, maybe we shouldn't be giving undocumented immigrants driver's licenses, and it doesn't get passed? How'd that happen? How did our Republican supermajority not pass those two bills? That's bizarre.
So like, that is completely bonkers. Like, that's crazy. That, like, an illegal immigrant can just drive in America. But so they can drive in America.
They can drive in Utah.
But they can't vote?
If someone said that about California, I would go, yeah, that figures. California's pretty dumb. But like, if someone said that can happen in Utah, that's insane. What are we doing?
What is happening with Utah people? This is a theme. What is happening?
What is happening? Let's go back over here. These are our big driver's licenses. 287 somehow did not get passed. What the heck? All right. So, is this this is 136. Okay. And I think these are mentioned in here. 287 and 136.
So
these ones.
So 136 we won.
136 we won, and the ACLU's sad about that because they didn't like it. 287, ACLU got exactly what they wanted. Illegal immigrants can keep driving in Utah. Hip hip hooray. So, yeah. 294. We're going back to the ACLU thing so we can hear about how terrible this was. HB 294. This bill would have changed the law where companies with over 100. Oh wait. Okay. So the current law says that companies that employ over 150 people have to get verified to make sure that all their employees are not illegal immigrants. Now this law was going to lower that threshold from 150 to 50. That's pretty reasonable, I think.
Yeah, like even your like normal construction crew isn't like 150 people, right?
Well, 50, that was going to lower it to 50, right?
Exactly.
That's still like quite a bit.
That's still a big team.
If we're talking about, I get like regulations can be a pain, and if you're like a small business and you just got a couple of employees, I still would say probably don't employ illegal immigrants. But like making someone who has a company with or a little shop with like 7 people in it, making them go register and like do all this stuff, I would say, yeah, we probably shouldn't do that just because putting regulations on these small businesses is such a pain. But 50 people, like that shouldn't be that difficult.
That's like 100 is a ton of people. 50 is a ton of people. And it's just 100 less, right? So So the fact that that's like a crazy thing to say is kind of wild.
I mean, you work at Berry Station. Didn't you have to do a background check for that?
Yeah, it was
For
like
Berry Station.
They have like 13 people.
16-year-old kid going to work at Berry Station has to do a background check, but it's so unreasonable when a company with 50 people has to tell us whether or not the people are documented or not.
Like that's, if we're being honest, that's kind of minimum. It's not like you have to check every single employee. If you have 3 employees, and it's like it's 50 people. That's a
50
that's
people.
a decent company, right?
That's not
Like,
much to ask.
You have stuff happening. So you should.
And clearly, if a froyo shop can ask a 16-year-old to put in
show
their
Social Security.
yeah, social security, do a background check, like surely if a froyo shop can do that, a company with 50 people can check and make sure their employees are not undocumented.
Exactly.
That's so minimum.
bare minimum.
Once again, like that is the minimum that like most states in the United States should be meeting. But this is Utah. We should be miles past that. What's going on? And by the way, House Bill 294, this one that was going to lower this restriction to 50, that did not pass.
Like,
What?
that's crazy.
That's
Like,
ridiculous.
that's just, at this point, it's so small. It's like, what are we doing? Holy.
So that is bare minimum, and yet a Republican supermajority can't get that through? What's happening? All right, let's move on to our last bit here. This is Trevor Lee's other two that he was trying to get through. These other two big ones. We have House Bill 88, and then oh crap, which one is this? Let me.
I'm trying to remember now. There's so many of them.
There's so many. 386. Okay, so is 386 even mentioned here?
No, I think it's
Oh, that's
mentioned
weird.
lower.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So House Bill 88 and House Bill 386, they're similar. House Bill 88 was the first one that, obviously by the numbers, the first one. Trevor Lee was trying to pass this, and the bill was pretty much, the goal was to say, hey, you have to prove that you are a valid immigrant if you want to be given free healthcare, free social services, free grants, all this stuff. If you want all this free crap, you have to show that you're actually a U.S. citizen. And they couldn't even pass that. They can't pass
That
a
is
bill that
crazy.
says you have to be a citizen to get free taxpayer stuff.
Like,
And then Trevor Lee tried to pass this again by putting a handful of these provisions in another bill, House Bill 386. That one also did not pass.
that's wild.
That's insane.
That is like, at that point, that's excessive. Holy. Like, the fact that I have to go pay for some illegal
Like-
immigrant who I've never even met.
If this was happening in California, I would think it's insane. But this happening in Utah is like miles past that.
This happening in Utah is literally like crazy. And we're supposed to be this big Republican state, stand up for the little guy, all this sorts of stuff. And we can't even, like,
We cannot
Not
get
have
something
more
like
welfare
this. Yeah.
for people who
We
don't
can't-
even.
Supposedly the most Republican state in the country can't pass a bill that says we won't give welfare to illegal immigrants.
We have to pay for them for like 50 years of life. We have to pay for all their stuff for like 50 plus years.
And
Yet they can't even live here for 4 years before we have to pay for them.
yeah.
That is
Okay.
crazy. The fact that we're paying as much welfare as we are is crazy.
The fact that we're incentivizing immigrants to come here legally, I think, is a little crazy. Because, like, I don't know, what are we getting out of that?
and if you're like, oh well, we get jobs, right? Why don't we employ
We
the people who
lose.
need those jobs in America already?
We lose jobs. We do not get jobs. You go, oh, but they're picking the oranges. So what? We could be picking the oranges. We need jobs.
We are
Jobs badly.
the job market, if you look, is terrible right now. We have like all of the people who should be getting those jobs are instead having to work at like super low pay McDonald's, but when they could be working at like farming jobs, doing stuff, right?
Mhm.
And actually getting money and getting experience too. You get zero experience at McDonald's.
Absolutely.
So the fact that we are now having to pay for them and supply them when we can't even supply our own Americans.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous. And the idea that them working jobs is contributing, it's not really. Maybe if there are actually like immigrants who come in and they start companies and they actually make jobs, and that's valuable. That's good.
Most time they're legal though.
Most of the time they're legal, yeah. And I want you guys to think about this too. Let's say me and Colin, we're two different companies, right? I need 5 employees. Colin needs 5 employees. And let's say there's 15 employees available. All these employees are going to be competing for the jobs that we have, right? But let's say in another situation, there's only 7 employees available. Now all of a sudden, rather than them competing for our jobs, we are competing for the employees. Because I need those employees, he needs those employees, so we're going to see who can pay more, right? Now, if you look at jobs like factory jobs, agriculture jobs, picking oranges, making stuff, those are more valuable than working at McDonald's or Walmart. But let's say Colin's Walmart and McDonald's and stuff, and I'm factories and orange farms or whatever. We don't have oranges here. I'm thinking of like Florida and stuff.
But farming.
James Fishback, like farming. Let's say Colin over here is these service-based jobs, Walmart, McDonald's, I'm factories and farms and stuff. And let's say that I'm employing all these people. I have more than enough workers because I have all these illegal immigrants, right? Then the other people over here who are competing for jobs with Colin, they're going to get screwed because he can pay him whatever he wants. He has all these people. But now let's say we didn't have all these illegal immigrants working for me, and all of a sudden we had just this job market here that did not include the illegal immigrants. Now all of a sudden, me and Colin are competing for the same workforce. So not only is having less illegal immigration and honestly having less legal immigration going to open up more jobs for us, it's also going to cause a raise in wages for other jobs, and it's going to help the overall market.
Well,
it's all interconnected. Like,
let's add 2 things to this. So let's add 2 things to this equation. One being being minimum wage. So if there is a lot of people who are working farming jobs, right? This is something interesting. A lot of people say, oh, well, minimum wage, it's too high and all this sort of stuff. You want to know how to make it lower? Get them to work the illegal jobs, because when they don't need millions in dollars to be in some stupid Walmart job, it's so beneficial. And instead of competing for the low pay illegal immigrants, we're actually competing for the American citizens who've lived here lived here all their lives, who are living in the hood, who are living in poor areas.
Absolutely.
And we can help them get out of it.
That's another thing we don't acknowledge enough, is we're talking about people in the U.S. who are suffering, right? Me and Colin, we're not competing for a job like doing agriculture and stuff. So, I don't know, we'll probably go to college, you'll probably do whatever. Like, we're not talking about us, though. When you let in all these illegal immigrants, you are screwing over people who were already doing awful. People who do need those jobs in a way that me and Colin here don't need those jobs.
Well, and not only that, so here's something. A lot of people say that, oh, well, these illegal immigrants are coming from bad countries where they could be killed, or where they're poor and there's not a lot of stuff to go around and they're, low wage or whatever. Do you think by that taking them out of that country is going to help them? No, it's not. We keep them in there so they can solve their problems. That's
brain drain. When we are, and that's more like when we have H-1Bs and stuff, we are like actually taking the smartest people out of their countries, and that's really damaging for them. Well, that's like, if these other countries are doing poorly, then taking away people who could contribute to that country, like that's not going to be good for that country or us.
And so how come we are having to take them into the interior of America just to pay for them again? That's ridiculous. Absolutely. That's crazy. We can't even pay for our own people.
Anyways, let's get back to the bill, right? See, look at this. This is a Republican from Bountiful, and he's saying, man, I don't know. I don't see how not giving illegal immigrants positions in our schools and stuff is going to help us. I don't understand how not making American citizens compete for jobs, compete for positions at universities with illegal immigrants who are given a well, what am I trying to say? A advantage by this system. I don't see how that's gonna help us if we stop that. It's like, what are you
It's
talking
very
about?
much gonna help us.
Bountiful Republican Ray Ward, what are you talking about?
Like, dude, grow up. The world is much simpler than we put it, and it's just like, it's totally ridiculous. Why are we paying for them? Why are we allowing them to be in here? Why are we giving them driver's licenses when they could go do that in their own country and solve their own country's issues instead of coming here and causing our country more issues? It's very simple.
Absolutely. Look at this guy. And also, we're talking about illegal immigrants. So, like, what are we talking about here? We're talking about how if we don't give illegal immigrants an advantage in our education system, we're being uncompassionate. We're not being compassionate to them. What are you talking about? Once again, Republican from Highland. What are you talking about? We have a responsibility to give away our positions, our jobs, all this stuff to illegal immigrants. And if we don't do that, and on top of that, give them free money, then we're not being compassionate enough.
Republican nowadays just means Democrat in disguise.
Yeah, at least in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Trevor Lee had another post on this, where he pretty much said that. He said, I'm all for compassion, but forcing U.S. taxpayers to pay for illegal immigrants' crap is not compassion. That is authoritarian. That is the exact opposite of compassion. So this is just a funny exchange here, because Trevor Lee goes, all right, guys, House Bill 88, we put a bunch of that stuff in that House Bill 386. It's our responsibility to protect our citizens here and to not be giving all these ridiculous advantages to illegal immigrants. And then Andrew Stoddard goes over here and says, yeah, your bill's stupid. It's,
Yeah, we have to give it to them.
stuff,
'Cause that's
blah.
dumb.
And then Trevor Lee responds, he said, should our government prioritize U.S. citizens over citizens? And then Andrew Stoddard says, you couch your racism in dollars and cents. So apparently it's racist. So say that, what does he say? Because he responds to this too. Oh, dang it, wait.
Oh no. Basically what he says is like, it's totally ridiculous. What he says is it is racist and bad to say, I think we should prioritize our people over people who are coming here who are not our people.
I thought we were past this one. Like, that's like so ridiculous. That's so insanely ridiculous. And yet, even in Utah, the heart of conservative America, this is the type of language we're using? Are we serious?
Are we are we this low IQ?
I hope not.
Hey, well, at least he doesn't have a blue check mark. So
that probably
kind of just shows you he's like, I gotta get back in the system or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I won't give Elon his $5 or whatever.
Elon is $5.
So yeah, jeez.
So that was a part of our session, and as we can see,
that was
major loses,
major losses.
A couple good things. More loss than was good. So
re-elect Trevor Lee.
Get it back.
Get him back in there. Dip a Trevor Lee in there for every district.
Yeah,
every single one.
We'll just clone him or something. But and speaking of which, Trevor Lee, if you're listening, we'd love to maybe interview you someday.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So please contact us.
I think Trevor Lee is speaking. I believe at the Leering event at the U of U on the 10th.
Oh yeah.
Having to go to that. So they got a ton of people. They got Trevor Lee speaking there, Nick Shirley speaking there. He's right here actually. Dr. Mana.
We don't know. We'll just put there.
And then Kai Schwemmer, who maybe we'll talk about in another video because he's had all this conflict recently.
So everybody, please, if you can, attend it. We might be there. Yeah. So
I think I RSVP'd. You're gonna be out of town, right? So.
Oh yeah, I probably will be. But
yeah.
Hey, well, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much.
This was amazing, and we will see you next week.
Yep.